Good morning. The rain is held, and we'll hope it stays that way. I am Ken Seibert, the mayor of the city of Southfield, and I would like to introduce our dignitaries and guests that are here today, starting with State Senator Vincent Gregory. Coming in right now is State Representative Jeremy Moss. Making a grand entrance as usual. From our City Council, we have Myron Frazier, our Council President. Daniel Brightwell, Councilman. Donald Percassi, Councilman. Michael Arimondobaum, our City Clerk, Nancy Banks. From our 46th District Court, we have Judge Cynthia Arvant. From our Southfield Public Schools, we have Betty Robinson, President of the Board of Education. And we have Daryl Joyce, trustee, vice president. No, I'm sorry, Daryl. From the city of Lathrop Village, we have Mayor Frank Brock and Councilman Ian Ferguson. And then from city administration, I see John McRena, our deputy city administrator, and Andy Potter. I've lost Andy. Oh, sorry. Andy Potter, City Manager of the City of Lathrop Village. We also have some very special guests here today. And I think it's very fitting, given that since 1950, the United States Army has had a presence in South Korea. Last year, we had the privilege of traveling to Dunjachen, South Korea, which is our sister city. And with us today is a delegation from Dunjachen. When we were in Dunjachen last year, we toured Camp Casey, a very large installation. Dunjachen, if you're not familiar, is sort of south of the DMZ, the demilitarized zone, north of Seoul, and it's been, again, the American military presence in Korea since 1950. So with us today is the Deputy Mayor of Dunjachen, Go Jae-hag. We have our city council member from Dunjachen, Jung Ji-shuk. We have the secretary to the deputy mayor, Lee Ki-wan. And we have the municipal administration senior director, Han Cheon-il. Our international exchange, and by the way, we've had some wonderful visits this week to Lawrence Technological University and hope to do some student exchanges, as well as yesterday, the students in the Southfield Public Schools did a very warm welcome at MacArthur, University High School, and Vandenberg. And so we have several education officials with us. Oh Jong-bing. Oh, he's in the back. He's an official photographer. We have the Education Support Department Director, Han Song-yeon. I'm doing pretty good on these names. International exchange from Shihan University, Ru Kwang-chul. Okay. Dongyang University, Baek Yu Sung. And one of the companies that we visited while we were in South Korea last year, from a company called Seconex, that does, if you have a cell phone with a lens on it, or drive a Kia or a Hyundai, they made it, and that's Lee Sang-soo. And and then of course somebody we cannot do without. We have who is our translator and international exchange person, Yim Chu Huk. So moving on with our program, at this time I would like to introduce Mayor Frank Brock.
I was told I'd be allowed to say a couple words, and only a couple, so I'll make this real quick. It's a real pleasure for the City of Lathrop Village to join with our friends and neighbors from the City of Southfield in honoring and remembering our veterans. Our City Councilman, who is with us this morning, I should say, is a veteran of the United States Navy. I was in the United States Army, and closest I got to battle was, I think, the first sergeant I had in basic training. But anyway, we in Lathrop have a Veterans Remembrance Committee that has overseen a lot of our efforts in our city to appropriately honor our veterans, including past remembrance ceremonies that we have held, and the establishment of our Veterans Remembrance Grove, which is located in the park behind our municipal building. If any of you have a chance to come by and see that, we'd welcome you there. We're proud of it, and this committee has done a great job. The one person who is not here with us this morning has been the chair of that committee for us for a number of years. Unfortunately, his health was such he was really not up to coming this morning, and that's Mr. Saul Baltimore. Saul has coordinated all of our efforts in terms of providing appropriate remembrance for our veterans. So I regret he's not here to be recognized for that. But we are pleased to be here and pleased to be a part of this. I see a number of Lathrop folks in the audience along with our Southfield friends. So again, thank you for including us.
I would now like to call the chair of our Veterans Commission and my neighbor, Gregory Pulliam, to raise the colors. Greg?
Good morning. Would everybody please stand for the raising of the colors?
The order of the arms.
Okay. All right.
like to lead you in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing while I ask Rabbi Aaron Starr from Congregation Sherry Zedek to do the invocation. Rabbi?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, distinguished leaders, and fellow citizens of Southfield. Heavenly Parent, author of all life, our lives are in your hand. We are but sojourners upon this earth. We recognize that the same fate awaits us all, whether we are simple or wise, rich or poor, great or small. Death levels all distinctions. We are all equal in death. Yet in life there are those who truly rise above. We gather together this Memorial Day weekend in tribute to the men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice for our country. We pray that you, our Creator, remember their worthy and righteous deeds, and that they find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. O guardian of life and liberty, may these United States of America always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who have died in defense of our ideals. May their memories stir us to better living, to kind words, to just and noble deeds and lofty ideals, so that we, like them, might work toward a day when every person shall sit safely under his vine and his fig tree, and there shall be none to make us afraid. Thus shall life become a song to immortality. Thus shall life be master over death. Blessed are you, our rock and our Redeemer, who enables us to remember and to honor on this Memorial Day. Amen.
You may be seated. And at this time, I'd like to introduce the Southfield High School for Arts and Technology, the choir under the direction of Jeffrey Martin. Mr. Martin? I would like to call up Paul Roche from Bugles Across America, and he will perform the Battle Hymn of the Republic. It's my pleasure to have back with us today Major General Leonard Isabelle Jr. Some of you may recall that the Major General joined us several years ago. Major General Leonard Isabelle is the Assistant Adjunct General and Commander of the Michigan Air National Guard, and also serves as the Commander of Michigan Air National Guard. He is the Principal Air Advisor to the Adjunct General and is responsible for the command and control of personnel, equipment, resources for 2 flying wings, an operations group, cyber operations squadron, and a combat readiness training center. General Isabelle received his commission in 1987 as a graduate from the Academy of Military Science. He graduated from pilot training at Reese Air Force Base in 1988, and he has held numerous positions in operation and maintenance, and is commanded at a flight squadron group and air component levels. And he has had numerous operational deployments. Major General Isabelle, please.
Appreciate it. Hey, good morning, everybody. It's actually great to be here as we honor our nation's heroes on this special day. As the mayor indicated, I've been here before. I grew up in Northwest Detroit. I live just down the road in West Bloomfield, so being in Southfield is part of my life. I've been here all my life. I'd like to recognize the choir. That was an outstanding rendition of the national anthem and the second selection. Thank you. And I'll thank Mayor Siver and Mayor Brock, but there's so many distinguished guests here, I won't name them all. I'll just do what my boss did yesterday when he did the event at the state capitol. All protocol observed, so thank you for being here today. But I will recognize our first responders, our members of our veterans organizations, our veterans who are here today, because they're the focus, I think, of my remarks today. Just what a special service they give our United States. So ladies and gentlemen, thanks for your role in keeping this community strong. Obviously, the support from the community is critical to the strength of our military. We look at it as a 3-legged stool. We have our military members, we have our family, and we have the support from the community. And we need all 3 of those entities pulling together to be the fighting force that we are, the most powerful military in the world. So thank you. We appreciate what you do, and thanks for having this ceremony every year. I think we're all aware that in many countries, the military isn't loved and supported as much as it is in the United States. In the United States, we're lucky. Events such as this are very meaningful to our military members as they sacrifice to defend our way of life. I applaud you all for sponsoring this ceremony, and I thank every one of you in attendance for your support. Thank you. Memorial Day is a special holiday, a single day during which we honor the spirit of all those who died in service to our nation, but whom we continue to remember and honor. We also think about their families and friends, perhaps even members of this community. And we mark this special day by celebrating the legacy of those who made the ultimate sacrifice. For many years, Memorial Day seemed at risk of becoming just another holiday, an extra day off from work or school that coincided with the beginning of summer. Unfortunately, since the terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001, and the ongoing global war on terrorism, a new awareness of the sacrifices of our military members is emerging and is becoming an ingrained part of the American existence. This heartfelt respect for our heroes transcends politics, cultural differences, and religion. In fact, Memorial Day started off as Decoration Day in the years after the Civil War. After the Civil War, both the Union and the Confederacy honored their Civil War dead by placing flowers at the grave sites. Unfortunately, after the Civil War, our nation was still divided, and the Union and the Confederacy, the North and South, observed Decoration Day back then in different ways. It wasn't until after World War I, where we lost a number of Americans, that we came together and we celebrate Memorial Day. And Memorial Day kind of outgrew out of one of the most divisive chapters in our nation's history to the holiday that it is today. So that's a very positive message. President Kennedy once said, "A nation reveals itself not only by the men and women it produces, but by the men and women it honors and the men and women it remembers." This quote recognizes that a key part of our nation's greatness lies in our ability to honor and appreciate all those who died to ensure our freedom. And the number is staggering. It's 1.1 million Americans have died since the Civil War fighting for America, fighting for us to be safe at night. So how do we instill and deepen this tradition to ensure Memorial Day continues to be observed with appropriate reverence, whether or not our nation is at war? First, we must teach others about the sacrifices that have been made on our behalf, sacrifices that allow us to continue to enjoy our constitutional freedoms. We must emphasize that committing yourself as a member of the United States military is among the most noble of endeavors. For the young people in the audience, you need to know that the opportunities in today's military are unlimited. We'd love to have you as a member of our team, and I'll talk to you personally after the ceremony if you'd like. So I can tell you about all the great things about being a member of the military. And I also would like to point out our veterans. And a number of the veterans, as I entered the building today, came up to me and they were so proud of their service. And they told me so many great things about their time in the military. And I think that was very compelling. You know, I always enjoy these events because I get to hear the stories. So positive for the military. And I think our young people can kind of take a lesson from that as well. Secondly, I think we should seek out our veterans and currently serving military members. Sit down, get to know them, talk to them, and treat them as the national assets that they are. Their experiences deserve telling and retelling. Find a way to keep their memories alive. I'd also like to thank our veteran service groups. We have a number of posts and organizations represented today, number from all over the metro area. And they're an integral part of keeping the awareness of our military members and their sacrifices, as well as events like this going. And finally, let's resolve to make every day Memorial Day. If you have a chance to thank a veteran for their service, please do it. I can tell you, as somebody who's privileged to wear the uniform, not a day goes by when I'm in uniform that somebody doesn't pull me aside to thank me for my service. And I'll say, are there any Vietnam vets in the audience today? Okay, I think we all know that you were not recognized appropriately when you came back from war, from serving your nation, from sacrificing. I can tell you that I believe that our nation, the patriotism is at the peak that it's ever been. Young people thank me. Elderly people thank me. And they're not thanking me, they're thanking those that came before me, all of you here in the audience. So thank you for your service. Thank you. And don't forget right now, as we prepare to celebrate and enjoy the upcoming weekend and the day off with good weather, we hope, we have airmen, soldiers, sailors, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen who are deployed overseas in service to our nation. Some of them members of our own Michigan National Guard and reservists, members of the community from Michigan who are deployed. So please keep them in your thoughts and prayers. Ladies and gentlemen, again, it's been a privilege. I'm very proud to be here representing the military. This is a very solemn occasion, but it's also a very joyous occasion as we celebrate our nation's heroes. Thank you, and have a great Memorial Day.
Thank you, Major General Leonard Isabel, for those remarks. And before I call up Gregory Pulliam to make some additional comments, I'd also like to make two other introductions. Our city treasurer has joined us, Herb Lowenberg, and also someone who does a lot for veterans, Tyrone Chapman, from the Michigan Veterans Foundation. Tyrone. Greg, I'd like to have you come back for some additional remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Siver. Not to be redundant, I'll just make this nice and short and sweet. Welcome to today's ceremony, and thank you for attending. I'm honored to be speaking with you today on such an important occasion. We're here today to honor our service members and to remember their sacrifices they have made and the courage it took to defend, honor, duty, and country. We're here today to honor our heroes, to remember their achievements, their courage, and their dedication, and to say thank you for their sacrifices. Thinking of the heroes who join us in this group today and those who are here only in spirit, a person can't help but feel awed by the enormity of what we encounter. We stand in the midst of patriots and the family and friends of those who have nobly served. However, I have a strange feeling about, in a ceremony like this, when we refer to vets, it seems like it's kind of discriminatory toward men, and it does not include the females. However, we have a great number of females that have been a party to this situation that we've been involved in far back prior to World War II, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know. And I think they deserve just as much honor as the rest of us that are active duty in any other situation that we get involved in that concerns the safety of our civilization. And so, in the meantime, I'd like for all of the veterans to stand and acknowledge who you are, and we do appreciate what you have done for our country. Thank you.
Thank you. As you have noticed, we have the mayor of Lathrop Village with us. And this year, we decided that we would combine the two programs. Lathrop had a program following ours on this day, and decided, why don't we share many things with Lathrop, so this is one more thing. So I'd like to call up Mayor Brock again, once again.
I was short the last time. I may be slightly longer this time, and I apologize in advance, but this is a good reason for this. I'd ask for a few minutes to just recognize one of our veterans who unfortunately departed from our midst this past April. In particular, I wanted to mention Mr. Thomas S. Bainbridge. Tom was born in April 27th of 1935, which meant he was older than I am. And he passed away, regrettably, on April 10th, 2017, this past spring. Tom was preceded in death by his beloved wife, Roberta, and he has 6 children, one of whom is with us today, Mary Beth Bainbridge. So just recognize Mary Beth. Mary Beth is actually has been living for a number of years out east, and she has been so moved by her visit back home that she tells me she's thinking of coming back. So that would be great. Thomas attended Howe Military High School. He was a part of the class of 1953. Again, that means he was 5 years older than me. My school played them in football, interestingly enough, so it was interesting. Tom graduated from the United States Military Academy in West Point in 1957. I didn't graduate from high school till 58, just got to let you all know I'm younger. He served in the Army from 1957, and he left as a captain in 1964. Tom was a Screaming Eagle. He earned an Expert Infantry badge. He was in Berlin during President Kennedy's visit and the erection of the Berlin Wall. I always wanted to blame him for that, but he wouldn't take that for him. Tom worked after he left the military as a bank branch manager for Comerica Bank here, and later owned his own print shop as an independent businessman. The main reason while we greatly appreciate Tom's service as a member of the military and as a veteran, we honor him today especially because he was a valued and dedicated member and volunteer in our community. He served on the board of the Town Development Authority and as its chairman for a number of years. He also served the Lions Club for many years and served for a number of those years as its president. He was involved with Southfield Public Schools. When his own children were long grown and gone from the school system, he continued to be dedicated to Southfield Public Schools, and particularly to the MacArthur K-8 University Academy. So we, with deep regret, we'll all miss Tom. He was like a brother to me, and I appreciate this opportunity to recognize him today. Thank you.
Frank, thank you for doing that. Many of us knew Tom. He was really had his heart was in Lathrop Village, but he also did many things in the city of Southfield. And I join you in your sorrow. He was really a great human being, and he was responsible for getting the, we have Douglas MacArthur School in Southfield since 1966, and Tom was responsible for getting a very large picture of Douglas MacArthur for the school so that the children knew what the school's namesake was. He will be missed because he was also a man of a lot of energy and very engaging individual. So we're at this point in the program, and I'm going to ask Mayor Brock if he would join me in placing the wreath at our memorial, and ask that veterans first and then elected officials follow us over to the memorial stone, and where we will have the 21-gun salute. So, Mayor Brock. You want to assist in carrying that?